Hi, this is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I want to show you the Big Shot embossing mats that are available in the new catalog. To demonstrate is I wanted to take one of my favorite dies, the little the umbrella here from the Up and Away set, and I used the 3 steps that it recommends. I did the plain cutting, and I'm going to just zoom in here so that you can see the difference. This is the plain cutting, and all it does is it just does the plain cutting as what we're used to with the regular dies. Okay? Well, then you use the mats and you come up with a cut and emboss. And here's the piece. It's been cut and embossed. And look at how different this piece is to this piece. This piece is very, very, very flat. And look at the depth and texture that you get with this piece here. There's a lot more detail when you cut and emboss using the mats than when you just go ahead and cut with the Thinlit plate. And then finally you can just emboss. So here I've taken this same Thinlit die and I embossed on paper. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, look at the 3 things that it can do for you, which I think is really, really, really takes your crafting to a totally different level. The embossing, the cut and emboss, and then just the plain cut using the Big Shot embossing plates. Here is an example, and I'm going to move out so I don't get too close. Here is an example using the method with this Thinlit from the Best Birds. And here I just chose to emboss. But look at that. That is really, really nice, and it would make a really nice addition on any card. So you can not only stamp and color the birds, but you can also emboss over the birds. I think that's really nice. So let me demonstrate how these all put together now that I've kind of showed you what the different looks are for this product. So here it is. When you get it out of the bag, you're basically going to get this, and it's going to have a light thin cutting sheet, a thicker gray cutting sheet, and then a white pad. And if you've ever used these, and I think these are just available in any of your big box stores, you'll see that this is much, much thicker than this gray sheet. So you really can't use something like this, and I'm not really sure what product this goes with, but these are especially made for your Big Shot. So you get these 3 pieces. Now the instructions are this tiny little box right here, and these pictures, which you can see, I tried to figure out all the different layers for how to put them together. But if you go and subscribe to my newsletter and go to my blog, I will give you these information sheets where I blew all the information up. So here, that little box is now this great big box, so you can read everything, and that tiny little picture now is blown up here, and I've typed out all the different steps that you need. So let's go ahead and follow that. I'm going to put my directions right here, and then I'm going to bring my Big Shot into view, And what I'm using for my Big Shot is going to be the Big Shot platform, the thin die adapter, and two very low sheets. Then my top plate and my bottom plate. And on these directions, they're referred to as pads. I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of paper, piece of cardstock, and I'm going to run through the first one here, which is just standard cutting. So what you need is your Big Shot platform, the thin die adapter, so both of these together. We're going to put down the cutting plate, and here that says to put the die, and I'm going to use this die here. I'm just going to put it face edge down, cutting edge down. Okay, and then I'm just basically going to use my standard cutting pad. So that's a pretty standard sandwich. And I'm just going to go through. I'm going to go back and forth, make sure I get okay. And I happen to have my my die brush, but I'm going to go directly to the next step, which is the cut and emboss. So you can do this two ways. I can go ahead and I can leave this, because the next piece is the Big Shot platform, no thin plate. I'm going to use my standard cutting pad, and I'm going to use the die with the paper still in it with the cutting edge up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut a sheet here, and I'm going to put another die, because I want to show you that you can do this both ways. I'm going to take another die and put this cutting side up. Okay, I'll lay that there, and then I'm going to use the gray silicone mat. I'm going to lay that on top of my dies, and then I'm going to use my white impression pad, and I'm going to run this through the Big Shot. Okay, just give it a couple of whirls through the Big Shot, and then let's pull it out. And let me grab my brush, and I'm going to brush this, and look at that, there it is. It's beautiful, and it's the cut, and it has the embossed impression on top of it. And then let's look at the one that we just went straight away, and we're going to go ahead and do this one. And this one did not cut, but what it did is it leaved an impression, and it did cut out some of the it just kind of left a really rich embossed impression, and that's if you just take the cutting edge and you put it over there and you run it through. So there's an option. And now let's do the last, and that is doing the emboss only. So again, I'm going to take a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to cut a piece here because I still think I can use this piece. I'm just getting another piece of cardstock. Okay, and I'm going to use my Big Shot platform, no thin die adapter, my clear cutting mat, and I'm going to put both dies cutting side up, and I'm just making sure I have all my little paper out of my die here with my brush. I have a stubborn little piece and I want to make sure I get that out of there. There we go. So this is going to go cutting edge up, single sheet of paper, cutting side up, single sheet of paper, and I think I have this mixed up. This one goes here and this one goes with this much wider piece, okay? And I'm going to use the thin silicone mat, and this mat is blue. And this paper will sometimes move around, so when you're making a card, I would recommend using something to kind of hold it down, because I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. And then we're going to go ahead and put our impression pad down, and we're going to run this through the Big Shot. Okay, so this is what we have for both our pieces. This is the embossed impression that it makes. This is the embossed impression that it made when I used the cut and emboss sandwich. I got a much deeper impression. This is just the emboss. This was a cut emboss, but I didn't cut the thinlet first. This I cut first, and then I used the cut and emboss sandwich, and I got this much more kind of etched cutout, rather than, if you recall, how flat this one is compared to how this one has much more, has all the embossing edges. And here's this one. You can see the difference between the two. Okay, so I really think that this is a great product. It's in the annual catalog. I would highly recommend it. If you don't buy anything else out of the catalog, I would recommend getting this tool, because it will take what you have right now, what you can use today, what you have in your shelf, in your crafting studio, your craft room. Take what you have and go ahead and utilize them and do some really neat things that can help you create some even nicer cards and effects. So I hope this is helpful. This is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection. Thanks for watching. Please like my video and go to my blog, stampartconnection.com. Sign up for my newsletter so that you can get the information on how to get my information sheets, so you can follow the products without having to use your cheaters. Have a great day and God bless.